Good evening, everyone, and good evening, sir. I am here to explain about my digital assignment too, and my topic is about unit testing. So, before discussing about my topic, let us introduce myself to you guys. I am E Purnima, my registration number 21 MIS 0078. I'm currently pursuing MTech Integrated Software Engineering, fourth year, and my locality is Vellore. Uh, what is digital assignment 2 is about? Either I can go with seminar or I can do with a PPT presentation. So why I have choose this PPT presentation? We have to choose any testing tool and we have to explain in detail. So why I have choose this PPT presentation instead of seminar? I personally feel like PPT presentation I can explain more about it and I can invest more time working on it and I can able to know the topic in much more detail. So anything is fine, but for my personal recommendation, I feel like PowerPoint presentation it would be a better option to go. So uh, yeah, we can get into my topic without wasting much more time. And before that, let me share my screen over to you guys. Your yeah, I guess my screen is visible to you. So um, yeah, so it is a digital assignment too, and my topic is about unit testing, and it is software engineering process tools and method, my course, and my slot is G2. So before explaining this slide by slide, let us give you basic description about my topic. And one thing, why I have choose this unit testing personally, because there are n number of testing tool like a number of testing tool like integration testing and black box and white box. There are a number of testing tools, but personally I feel unit testing is a basic thing we can know and easily we can understand about it. So I choose a unit testing. And yeah, let's discuss. For in the front page it is about like my unit testing, and I have an illustration here. And in second page it is an overview and insights. And in the third slide I just kept key components. What is the key components of unit testing and how we use a unit testing, like basically the developers how they will use it and why we use a unit testing, and evolution of unit testing, like from historical thing to up to now, how it is made the changes like that, and the types of unit testing. Of course, we need to know about what is the type of unit testing is there, and where unit testing works the best, like where it is performed as best, and its advantages and disadvantages, and why it is considering the best testing type, why it is considering the best, like everyone we need to know like why we can use unit testing and why it is considering as a best type, and what is the upgrade future use of unit testing, which means like what is the future use, like what is the upgrade made in unit testing from last to now, like that. And this is my thank you page, and that's it. So we can explain so sorry, I can explain about it in detail. Yeah, and this illustration represent so basically you can get the idea when I just kept the illustration here. We can see an example of one more thing also. So accordingly, we came across many the software courses. There is basically as a software developer, as a software designer, as a software engineering, perform a project and what is your things if you're developing a project, for example, any project, any kind of project, what will be the normal things? So we will say like requirement, analyze, testing, coding, and initiation, and debug, and maintenance, and like evolution and releases. There are n number. We basically start from requirement and we will end up in maintain. So same as here, unit testing has some life cycle. Like first we have to choose a unit think framework. What is the first we have to choose, and then we have to identify. Then we have to write the test cases. We have to write the test cases, like we have to write the algorithm or coding part, anything. And we have to set up the environment. What is the unit testing? And we have to run, and we have to analyze, and we have to refactor and iterate. We have to run and see the bugs or there or defects or there, whatever we have to check, and we have to run it. And this is the all about. So we got idea about what is unit testing is basically, and why I have choose the unit testing. And let us discuss about in detail from now. Yeah. And unit testing overview and insights. Unit testing is a software testing method where individual units or components of a software application are tested in isolation from the rest of the system. The purpose is to verify that each unit functions as expected. A unit is often the smallest piece of code, can be logically isolated in a system such as a function, method, or a class. So I will discuss this. And unit testing best practices a checklist. For example, if I describe about this illustration, you could understand about this. So write a readable simple test. There are unit testing some like steps how we can perform. There are 10 steps. First we have to write a readable test. First we have to write a readable simple test, what should be done, and write a determinant test, and test one scenario per test. For example, if you are a software developer and perform this unit testing and for your project like that, test one scenario what we can implement in the project. And unit test should be automated, and it should be isolated. It should be a single, or it should be an isolated test, and avoid a test interpretance. It means avoids the bugs, errors, and combine unit integration testing. Like I said before, there are a number of testing, like unit testing, integration testing. We have to combine and ensure unit testing are repeatable and scalable. We can use it like that. And test for secure issues and part of your unit test. And it should be secure and your unit test, like issues as per unit test. So this is the overview. As I explained here in the illustration, we are discussing here. So this is the overview and insights about unit testing. And key components of unit testing include test cases and test suits and test runner and assertions. So test case like describes about the inputs and expected result, and test cases and test condition and for each test. For example, if you're giving a code, we have to define the input. In the code part, we have to define the input part, and we that input like overall it should be the expected result what they have given to us, and test condition for each test. So we should have a each test condition for each test. And test suits a collection of test cases or related functionality organized for easier management. Like it should be easier to work on it. Test runner, of course, we have to the result should be run without any bugs, and it should be according to the expected outcome. And assertion, statement in test cases or validate expected outcomes against actual outcomes. Like it should be validate what we expected. So this would be the key components of unit testing. And how we use a unit testing is typically performed by developer as a code. So as I said in before, if you're a software engineering or if you're a software developer, or if you're a project manager, whatever, perform these activities for your project like that. There are a developer for a code. So creating a test cases, writing a test, and running a test, and analyzing a result. So creating a test cases, we have to define it, we have to test it, we have to test, like we have to design a test cases. Basically we have to design the test cases on the particular what we expected according to the scenario they given, and writing a test using a unit testing frameworks like Java and .NET and Python, like JUnit and NUnit and Python. Running text, execute it is run without bugs, and analyzing the results. Yeah, analyzing the results, review test result to identify any filing cases and determine if they indicate a defect in a code. Analyzing the results, as we all know, like it is like it is run without any error, and it should not have any failing cases at any way. It should be execute in a correct way, and it should be execute without bugs. Why we use a unit testing? So we have look at what is unit testing, and what is unit testing, and key components, the basic thing of test cases. So in the background I have just indicated, like this is the code we can understand in the background itself, like this is the code, and test cases, like it should be pass, okay. And here I have explained about the 10 what we have to do, the basic thing, and the key components, the overall thing. And here, yeah, how you going for developers, how they using the unit testing, like that. And yeah, and why we use unit testing? What is the purpose of you using the unit testing? Yearly bug detection and code reliability and refactoring confidence and documentation. So unit testing, what it should be done means, like it catches the errors in a small code sections yearly, making the easier and cheaper to fix. Unit testing is very like everyone can afford it, and they can fix in small code. We can fix the bugs, and we can identify in early cases, because if we are implementing the large code, and we are deducting the bugs at the last, it should be like cost is like economically we can't afford, and even that should be more complicated. But this would be yearly bug reduction, that would be makes economically good, and it should be more easier in a way to work. And code reliability, ensure that the individual components work correctly before integration. Before going to integration, it checks the code works reliability, like that. Refactoring confidence allows a developer to change or refactor code with a confidence knows that is which catches issues. So refactoring confidence, if we are making developer making any issues in a code or any bugs in a code, they are not doing wantedly, but if they make any bugs like unknowingly, we can able to refactor with a full of confidence. They can make the code easier, and they can make changes, okay, with the confidence. And documentation serves as a form of documentation illustrating the expected behavior of each unit. Documentation, the complete part and the complete documentation we will discuss. And evolution of unit testing. Evolution of unit testing, like evolution of unit testing, we can see once again. Yeah, why we use like the developer, and yeah, and evolution of unit testing. Evolution of unit testing, you can make like test cases and be successful. Like evolution in that sense, we can say what is the changes of unit testing made up to now, from historical to now, what is the evolution made around unit testing. Unit testing has evolved significantly, moving from manual test cases written in custom scripts to automated frameworks and tools that integrated seamlessly into the development process. And key phases include uh, unit testing has evolved from manual test cases. So before we had a manual test cases, uh, before we had a manual test cases, in the sense we have a very written copy like that, and written in the custom things. And it should be written in a custom scripts and to automated frameworks and tools that integrated seamlessly into the development process. Key phases include manual testing, frameworks and libraries, and continuous integration, CI. So easily manual testing is early stages relied heavily on manually written tests without framework. So manually, what the evolution actually the unit testing from manual to we have creating more things. So manually written test cases or more, and frameworks and libraries and the JUnit late 1990s standardized the approach, make a test more manageable. So they have changed later from 1990s. And the integration, the continuous integration, the integration of unit testing into pipelines, regular testing with the every code change. Every code we have changing a lot. And types of unit testing. Types of unit testing, manual unit testing, automated unit testing, test stubs and mock objects, and parameterized testing. There are many, but these are the importance. Perform manual testing, performed manually by tester through uncommon today. It should be performed by a human or it should be manually testing. Okay. Automated unit testing. The standard approach where tests are executed by automated tools, where it should be executed by automatically. And test stubs and mock objects. Test stubs and mock objects stimulate parts of code that are not part of unit tested, enabling isolated testing. Test stubs and mock objects stimulate part of code and are not part of being unit being tested, enabling isolated testing. And parameterized testing allows the same test to run with different inputs, testing a wider range of scenarios. As I discussed earlier, they have given a scenario we have to develop for that unit testing, and parameterized we should run with that. And where unit testing works best. Unit testing particularly useful for backend code and libraries and APIs and data processing validation and TDD and CI environments. So where it is performed where it is performed best, unit testing. So we discussed few types and evolution and why we use and of developers use and key components. Yeah yeah Where unit testing it's like works best. Backend code, function classes and algorithm are easy to isolate backend code. If a code there, we can perform in the backend code. And libraries and APIs ensures the specific functions and endpoints work as intended. And data processing, idle for verifying a correctness and in a data transformation and validation logic. TDD and CI/CD environments. Unit test or essential and agile environments. Agile environment with a frequent code changes. So yeah, advantages and disadvantages of unit testing. The unit testing yearly deducting, and it is cost free, like sorry, not a cost free, it is a minimum we can bear, we can easy to pay, and it is early to detect. Like these are advantages, and when we coming up to disadvantages, it is a faster debugging, and it also used only for small codes. But we can't fix it for larger code. And why it is considering a best testing type. Unit testing is highly regarded because it is enable efficiency and early bug detection. We discussing about early bug detection in every slice. So as you came to know, have idea about it, and it is when it integrated, it further enhance, resulting in well documented and well tested code. Basically, it is a best testing types in three levels, like not three levels, in a three outcome, like in a three possible way. Like it is a early bug detection, and it is a well documented, and it is a well tested code. So because the developers are testing it in a early stage, so it is a well tested code. Yeah, ending, we came to last part in my slide, and upgrades and future use of unit testing. AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, advanced tooling, and shift left testing and continuous deployment integration. So what is the upgrades and future use of unit testing? Up to now we've seen what is there and what will be the upgrades of unit testing. AI, artificial intelligence, as we all know how the artificial intelligence is, and ML, machine learning is working in now in this generation. And it is like automated test generation and maintenance should be very easy. And advanced tooling, new tools and frameworks would be improved and reduce maintenance. And shift left testing, which means pushing a testing earlier into the development cycle. With before a development cycle, we are testing earlier. And continuous deployment integration. Like unit testing increasingly play a role CI/CD pipelines for rapid high confidence releases. So as we discuss about advantages, disadvantages, and upgrade and future use and upgrade and future use and the key components and types and the evolution, yeah, why it is a best type, and like where it should be used, why where should be it is used, and what is the best way useful, and developers, and we discuss about all, and I have explained about this illustration, we can get a clear idea. And yeah, so I have done. Yeah, so yeah, this is about unit testing, and I discussed about it in much more detail, I guess. So I feel very gratitude, so giving me opportunity to explain about this unit testing in much more in detail. And yeah, so thank you, and welcome. Thank you.